Well, that was a snore fest.
Hey guys, what's going on? It's your boy Spepper here in another video. And anyway, yeah, welcome to today's video. As you can tell, I'm not too happy with the race. It was more exciting than some people would say, or at least I think it was more exciting than some people would say. But yeah, let's get straight into the race results. So it was Lewis Hamilton taking the win from pole, very surprising, along with Valtteri Bottas in P2, and just behind them was Charles Leclerc in P3, finishing off the podium, Max Verstappen P4, Sebastian Vettel with the fastest lap, so he will get that extra point in P5. Then in P6 for McLaren, we have Carlos Sainz, very good result from the Spaniard. And then we have Kimi Räikkönen in 7th, also a very good result for the Finn, or for the Iceman rather. And then we have Nico Hülkenberg in P7, and then Lando Norris in P8, and Pierre Gasly in P10. Very disappointing result for the Frenchman. Then we have Daniel Ricciardo, who got 2 5-second penalties. I will get to that later. Followed by Sergio Perez, who has also gotten a 5-second penalty in P11, in P12, which I will also get into later. Then follows his teammate Lance Stroll in P13. Then come the 2 Toro Rossos of Daniel Kvyat, just ahead of Alexander Albon, making P14 and P15. And then your bottom 5 began with Antonio Giovinazzi. I was very surprised at that result, especially that start. Then follows Kevin Magnussen in P16 for Haas F1. Then follow the 2 Williams, rounding off the finishers with Robert Kubica, finally finishing ahead of his teammate George Russell, who did have some front wing damage after hitting a bollard. Then your only non-finisher is Romain Grosjean, and all I know is that he had some sort of engine failure and was told to retire. But now let's get on to what happened in the race. So we're going to begin with the Mercedes 1-2. Once again, Lewis Hamilton finishing ahead of Valtteri Bottas, as you guys told. He finished with a 12-second gap between him and Valtteri, but later in the race, Valtteri I could tell he was beginning to struggle a little bit, as Charles Leclerc almost caught up to him, and if there was another lap, this is pure speculation, but I personally think he might have been able to catch Valtteri. This is also, I just think, I don't think we should consider Valtteri a championship contender anymore. I know I'm early if this continues, but yeah, I just don't really think Valtteri is really giving us any hope to stop the win streak that Lewis Hamilton has of winning his drivers' championships. So next we're going to be talking about McLaren. Very good day for them. They had Carlos Sainz finish up in P6, but it was a very different story for Lando Norris, as during the race the first part of the race was very good. He was driving as well as Carlos Sainz. Maybe a little bit worse than him, but I'd still say he was driving extremely well. But in the second part, he began to develop mechanical problems. At one point, the team told him he wasn't allowed to use his DRS, and there was also something about gear shifts. I forget exactly what was about that. But towards the end of the race, there were 3 cars coming to him, and those cars were Daniel Ricciardo, Nico Hülkenberg, and Kimi Räikkönen. All of them tried to attack him. Daniel Ricciardo succeeded, but the FIA, in typical fashion now, or not really in typical fashion yet, but if they continue this, I'm gonna, yeah, right now I'm very mad at the FIA, because what happened was Daniel Ricciardo was proceeding to overtake Lando Norris, and he tried to wrap it around the outside of that turn 7-8 chicane, or sorry, 8-9 chicane. As he was dived down or tried to wrap it around the outside, he went a little bit off track, and I don't think it would have made a difference if he kept at least one of his tires on the track. But yeah, and then in the second part, after Daniel Ricciardo succeeded in overtaking Lando Norris, Kimi Raikkonen got a lot better of an exit out of turn 9, and then Kimi Raikkonen forced Daniel Ricciardo, or actually blocked him. Daniel Ricciardo proceeded to move to the side of the track outside of the white lines and overtook Kimi Raikkonen. And yeah, not really much to say. I don't think the penalties were deserved. I believe it was just hard racing. I mean, at the end of the day, the white lines are the white lines, but I mean, you killed some very good action and some very good driving. So yeah, I can't really blame Daniel Ricciardo for doing what he did. Very good drive from him. He started P8. Yeah, so not really much else to say. So next we're going to be talking about Pierre Gasly, and up until this point I think I've been rather lenient towards him. But after this race my opinion really has changed towards him. He's another person I expected to finish well. But this is I just can't bear it anymore. Pierre Gasly has to start delivering. I really think Red Bull should drop him before the end of the season. He is really just not performing where he should be. As I mentioned before, he finished P10. He was at one point, I believe, like P16. Although I will give him a little bit of slack because that was right after he pitted. But yeah, he was fighting with the midfielders once again in a Red Bull. Maybe I could understand his fights with McLaren, but like Renault and all those other teams, you just can't be doing that in a top 3 car. So yeah, really disappointing performance from Pierre Gasly. Next we're going to be talking about Ferrari, who have also had a pretty disappointing weekend overall. Obviously Charles Leclerc finishing P3, Sebastian Vettel finishing P5, but he also gets an extra point for having the fastest lap. But yeah, also really disappointing for Ferrari as Mercedes continue to dominate the field. But anyway guys, that is the end of today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell if you didn't already. Yeah, nothing really much else to say. Thank you for watching.